Welcome to the BPPN Fatherhood Initiative Symposium Brunch. My name is Nathan, the Prolific Palmer, here representing BPPN, Buffalo Prenatal Perinatal Network. And I'm here with one of the fathers from the program. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Arlen. I went through the Nurturing Fathers program.
That's what's up right there, man. Describe your family to us, and how many children you have, names, ages.
Yeah, so I have, I guess you might call like a diverse or broken family. And I have a son who's 19 years old. I have a daughter who passed away. Her name is Hannah.
Wow.
She's in heaven. She would be 12 right now. And then I have two 6-year-old daughters. They're not twins, almost, but not quite. And so I have my youngest with me here today, hanging out with us at the brunch.
That's what's up, man. That's respectful. I love seeing, men with their children and stuff like that, man. As a man, you're probably familiar with some of the stigmas that, we face as men and stuff like that. And so it's a big thing to be active with our children and building those relationships. And,
Super important.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. You want to tell us a little bit about your life before you got involved with the organization?
Yeah, for sure. I've had a lot of court revolving around my children. I've been in some situations where I had partners who dealt with very strong mental health issues. Not all the mothers, but I have 3 baby mothers. And 2 of them were very difficult, and 1 is very supportive. So if you kind of look at my situation, my life with my exes and my children, and just the struggle to fight for strong, healthy co-parenting relationships, it was very challenging for some. Although I do have excellent support from one mother. Which has been a godsend. But I was struggling with court, and it was affecting my work life, which affects, quality of life with my children. And then actually through work, I met someone who had been a part of the Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative Nurturing Fathers program, and I was invited to attend. And I met a wonderful group of men who were at different points in their journey, struggling, or maybe some that were more successful and just wanted to share. I was kind of in the middle, but for the parts that I was struggling with, I got lots of strength. And then for people that had been through similar struggles that I had already faced, I was just able to contribute to their journey as well.
That's what's up, man. You know what I'm saying? I definitely can relate as a father. The court system can be, what's the right word to describe it?
Meat grinder?
Definitely, it's definitely a hindrance. It does
really
more
difficult.
to hinder the relationship between the families than it does to actually strengthen it. And
yeah, to be fair, some good things have come out of the court system that I've experienced, but 90%, man, 90% seems to be a hindrance or absolutely destructive to just trying to be a parent. If that's what you're coming to try to do, it can be very difficult.
Right, genuinely, absolutely. It can be a lot of red tape for men, as far as being striving to establish our rights in court. And I think it's a very important thing. If you're in a situation where, like you said, your 2 baby moms was kind of difficult and stuff like that. So I feel like it's important to encourage young men, especially young fathers, to be persistent going through the court system and establishing your rights, because you do have rights as a father. And so
right, it's gonna build patience.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's not a bad thing.
No.
And when you have places like the Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative, the Perinatal Network, the Nurturing, or the Nurturing Fathers.
Nurturing Fathers.
The Nurturing Fathers. Those are such big helps.
Oh yeah.
and they kind of, I'm sure the court appreciates them for
Oh yeah, most
helping
definitely,
things out. For
most
sure.
definitely. I could see where just because you're not the first person I interviewed. I interviewed another member of the program, and he was very complimentary on the support and the resources provided with the Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative. And me being from Niagara Falls, New York, born and raised, we
Okay.
don't have um, these kind of organizations doing this kind of work. So I think this is very important and
I would love
something
to see
that.
stuff like that in Niagara Falls
Oh
also.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you know.
definitely something like that. We got some things in the works. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself,
You're
but
right, right.
I'm definitely taking this experience with working with the BPPN and just taking these skills and stuff like that and gonna parlay that to my own community and stuff like
Very
that.
good.
But moving on to the next question, what are your greatest fears, if any, for you and your family?
Uh, I wouldn't call it fear so much as a concern. I feel like I have a vision of what I want my relationship to be like with my kids when they're adults. So sometimes you get nervous, like everything I'm doing, even though I'm planning, even though I'm getting resources from my neighbors, friends, and community, is it going to be enough? You know, and having a daughter that passed away, it was cancer, it's terrible. So sometimes things come up that are going to take your car off the road, so to speak, or like keep you from getting to where you're trying to go. So there's some trauma that comes with stuff like that. But I do have strong faith in God, and that community and communities like this one, with the Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative, all these supports give me the confidence I need to, kind of know that there is a good chance to be successful. But that fear of maybe not being enough, I think, is maybe something that I might deal with more than some of the other fears.
I think that's something as men we probably suppress. I think if we were a little bit more honest with ourselves, I think that's pretty much a common concern about amongst most men. Like, are we doing enough? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And even though, like, I've had some great examples in my life, fortunately, and still those men still question themselves even after all they've given to their families and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of a natural concern and a sign of a great dad. My next question, I kind of think I know the answer to it, but I would like you to expound on it a
Sure.
little bit. Is you mentioned the unfortunate passing of your daughter. How do you get through something like that and find the strength to move on?
Well, I do have a very strong belief in God. Um, I do believe that God has a purpose for us in this life, and He has something more for us after. So, in light of eternity, when you think about eternity, and you see this world as preparation for something else, um, I have hope there. Um, for the day to day of it, though, I did go to counseling, and that was helpful. One of the activities the counselor gave was to write a eulogy, or an obituary uh, for your daughter. Like if you were gonna, because a lot of times when a kid passes, another family will write the obituary because it's overwhelming.
Right.
So I think one of her aunts wrote the obituary. So the counselor was like, if you were gonna write the obituary, what would it say? And then it actually had me write it out. So the interesting thing there is like if you really focus and document all the good things that were, and you focus on those good things that were, you'll notice that a lot of those things are still being impactful. So it's sort of like she's still influencing the world around us through conversations like this. For example, she had a tenacious personality where she wanted to be hands-on, and she had all kinds of great one-liners that I like to share with people. Uh, One time she said, because a kid, when they're looking at the sky, they don't understand like clouds and things, and so she was looking at the moon. She's like, and we were driving, and so the positioning of the car to the moon was also an issue, but she's looking out the window at the moon, and then she says to us, the moon was there, but now it's gone. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. And so I always tell that story because a lot of times in our life, it's like my child was there, but now she's gone, and that is a big problem. But in light of eternity, she's still there. She's just behind the clouds. We can't see, you know. And this is true of a lot of things in life. Like I'm going through this court process. Things used to be good, now they're bad. That's a big problem. You know, there's all kinds of ways I can use just that one thing. My little girl, I learned so much from her while she was here, and so and she is still impacting people. You know, I've heard our story was public. A lot of people knew about our situation. I've had people come up to me and tell me all kinds of wonderful stories. I had friends that go to a different church that got up and shared when she was still alive and said, hey, think about supporting the Boyer family because, their daughter's going through this very difficult time. And my friend had presented my family life to the congregation to ask them to help. Well, one of the interesting things that came out of that is there was a couple that had an adult daughter who they had stopped talking to. And they said, well, because of your story, we got reconnected with our daughter.
That's beautiful,
Yeah.
man.
So
That's beautiful, bro. Thanks for sharing that, man. Wow, that's an amazing story, man. Thanks for, your perseverance and your faith. Definitely is something that has to be respected and commended, man.
thanks. Yeah, well, help from the community, right? I mean,
It's a village.
people
It takes a
need
village.
people.
It
Yeah,
takes a
that's what
village,
it is.
bro. It really does, man. That's that's an old saying, but it never it's never a time in life where it's not true. You know what I'm saying? So most definitely. So moving forward to the future, what's your dreams and where do you see the future of your family down the road?
Like I said, it's kind of broken right now, so it's hard, man. It's really hard. My son, he's got a job. He's got his own place now. He's 19, and so I'm super proud of him. I put a lot of effort into staying connected with him, and I'll take little opportunities like sports events or, if he needs transportation for something. He just got his license, so I'm excited about that.
That's what's up.
But he doesn't have a car yet. He's got an electric bike, and there's been some trouble with it. That gives me an opportunity to help him get to his work or something like that. I can take that time, redeem that time, and just get to pour into him and rebuild his respect. Because with some of the decisions I made, moving from relationship to relationship. He was from mom number one, and he got to see that growing up, and it was hurtful to him. Some of the bad choices I made. So over the last 3 or 4 years, I've just been owning my bad decisions, and I share that with him, and so I've been spending time rebuilding respect with him, and then making a lot of efforts with my daughters to make sure I have good quality time with all my kids together when possible, and then individually. And so I'm hoping that will result in just like a solid relationship where I have, independent young adults that are involved in the community, that are kind, that love people, that know when to say no, but also are willing to say yes when they know they can contribute to something that's good.
No doubt, man. Well, listen, man, we not perfect, bro. I definitely, as a parent, I've made my mistakes with my own kids, but you hit on the key word, which is accountability. And I think that you taking accountability for your decisions and everything like that will be an example for your children to where, you know, they'll be accountable and responsible adults and whatnot. So I think you're laying a solid foundation, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, appreciate
For
it.
them to, you know, be successful in life, for real. Tell us about your favorite part of the day. What brings you the most joy?
Well, that's an interesting thing. I like to be outside a lot, so I go to the beaches. I go through the woods. I'm into science and nature. I like looking at the sky. So I take pictures of lightning. Just I feel like there's a lot of in the natural wonder of things. I feel like it's God's artwork. I feel like He's communicating to us artistically. So the things that bring me the most joy during the day, besides nature, I would say are creative things like music, poetry, fine arts. I'm
Do you
looking. I'm
partake
looking.
in it
Yeah,
at
so
all?
I write some poetry.
Okay.
I play some music. I make some
Okay.
music.
Yeah, I'm picking up on the
Yeah,
vibe there. My
so
background is hip hop, so you know what I mean.
yeah, so
I'm
I
picking up
have
on the vibe.
I've had a lot of really great opportunities to work with musicians in Buffalo in the past, and in other communities. So I've played the saxophone for a number of years.
Okay.
I actually was involved with some Christian hip hop movements in Buffalo,
Okay.
and so I love to support people that are doing creative, artistic things. And so for me, it's really clear that God is a creator, right? So, and it's also clear that God made us in His image. And so I feel like people have a purpose to create. Like you were created to create. And so there's something beautiful about that. I think that's why so many people, you know, key into it or can respond or relate to, you know, their favorite artist.
Right.
Whether it's, you know, music or visual arts or, you know, even created things have a lot of element to art to it. So could be anything as simple as a chair or table. There's something I like
yeah.
about this chair and this table because,
Oh yeah.
you know, so somebody wanted to make it say something more than just table or chair, right?
Right,
This is like a
Right.
special seat. This is
Absolutely,
a special
man.
table.
Absolutely, man. Fine arts is where, you know, it helps us, you know, I think remember culture, history, and also reinforces certain principles in the universe, such as mathematics, you know what I'm
Sure,
saying?
absolutely.
Science,
Yeah.
things of that nature. So fine arts is definitely, I think, the foundation of all knowledge. Is you're gonna have to infuse whatever principles you're using, you're gonna have to infuse the fine arts into that, you know, to make it
Yeah,
a
and
culture, a living culture.
there is art and science, and that to me, that is that's one of the keys that we have. That there's something beyond that cares about us, you know. And so that's a clue. I recently got my daughter's little pocket microscope so they can start looking at things.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
yeah, you know, it's kind of fun.
That's
But
what's up, man. That's what's up. So where do you think you would be today without the BPPN and the Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative?
I would say I'd be at least 3 steps behind
Yeah.
where I'm at. So I'd be a step behind in the court process. They actually wrote a letter on my behalf about my participation in the program. My participation in the program was not court mandated, but I kind of did it partially because I wanted to show court that, you know, I'm serious about my fatherhood, you know.
Absolutely.
And so not only did they write a letter, but Jamal actually came to court with me one day, just to testify that, you know, I was a participant that cared and that was, you know, involved.
That's real
And
support right
so Man, that was
Shout out Jamal.
huge. Thank
Word
you,
up.
Jamal. Thank you. And Terry wrote the letter. Thank you, Terry.
Shout
And
out
Michael
to
was
Word Up.
in
The
on
whole
it.
organization.
Yeah,
you
they
know
really
what I'm
came
saying?
together for
Word
me
up.
when I was going through struggles while I was in the fatherhood class. It was not easy. I had a lot of really good things come out of the court process recently. So I recently received more time with my daughter, the one who's here with me today.
Great.
My other daughter, uh, with my ex, who's very supportive, was able to come to my graduation from that program. Just the fact that the Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative is, allowing me to include my children on the process is special. I have been involved with another parenting class that was court mandated, and I won't name it, but it didn't have an interactive element where you can include your children. It didn't really have much of an element where you could share your story and learn from other stories. It missed some key components that makes this program really, really great, really powerful and strong.
No doubt, man. Thanks for sharing that, because I think the nature of the courts, the family court system, is pretty much more about like policing than
Right.
it is actually building stronger families. And I think this fatherhood initiative, we're about building relationships
Yeah.
and stronger families.
Yeah, and the reason I would say 3 steps behind is because one, the court piece, right? But then there's all this inclusion for the children. So, I mean, like, they're giving me direct opportunities to build with my children.
Right.
And then third, they have other events that they sponsor that allow you to just, for personal enrichment, for like mentoring and things of this nature. And when you put those 3 elements together, support through court, kind of unconditional love, right? Which allows you to heal, which allows you to correct issues you may be at fault for, or get through things you might not be at fault for. So that's huge. And then, so court, personal development, and then time with your children.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What would you say to any young dads about this program?
I would tell you that you should seriously consider it. It's going to be an opportunity for you to become stronger. It'll give you an opportunity to go in a direction to be the best dad that you could possibly be. And it's not going to only affect your children, it will also affect you and your relationships with other people. So I think it's, when you find a treasure, you don't want to keep it all to yourself and not tell anybody. If you find a really good treasure, it's more meaningful if you share it with people. Hey man, come see what I found. It's
Absolutely.
amazing, right?
Absolutely.
And when you can share it with the community and share it with people, it'll just be that much more valuable. So I would encourage anybody that's got an opportunity to get involved with something like this. You should take that opportunity, because it's like a treasure that it'll make you rich in so many ways. And so I can't say enough about it.
No doubt, man. I respect that, man. That pretty much wraps up my questions for the day. The story is very powerful, bro.
Thanks.
Very powerful, man. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Your resilience,
Thanks for this
man.
opportunity to speak
Man,
about it.
Absolutely,
I
man.
really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
The sharing, man. Listen,
Yeah.
it's people. I mean, it's no telling, man, how many people will be inspired by, you sharing your story, bro. So I mean,
I'm glad. I love to share.
absolutely, man. Thanks for meeting with us,
All right.
and congratulations on your honor today.
All right. Thanks so much.
No problem.
All right.